help me reach 2,000 subscribers. I never imagined I'd be the woman who'd ruin her own wedding day. Everything about that morning felt perfect, the laughter, the champagne, the nervous excitement that buzzed through the air. The sunlight poured through the hotel windows, reflecting off my white dress as my bridesmaids fluttered around me, fixing curls and smoothing fabric. I should have been the happiest woman alive. But deep inside there was a hollow ache I'd been ignoring for months. One that would make me do something I'd regret forever. Ethan, my husband's best friend, had always been around. He was charming, confident, the kind of man who made everyone feel at ease. But somewhere along the way, his smiles toward me had shifted, softer, lingering, full of something dangerous. I tried to brush it off, convincing myself it was harmless. After all, I loved Daniel. He was steady, loyal, and had loved me since college. But as wedding preparations took over our lives, Daniel grew distant, always working late, exhausted, barely noticing the exhaustion in me. Ethan, on the other hand, noticed everything. The night before the wedding, Daniel stayed with his groomsmen. I was left alone, nerves dancing in my chest. That's when Ethan came by, claiming he wanted to check if I was okay. One glass of wine turned into two. Compliments turned into confessions. And before I realized it, he was close, too close. His voice low, his hand brushing mine, the air thick with everything unsaid. I told him to leave. He didn't. And I didn't stop him soon enough. When it was over, the weight of what I'd done hit me like a tidal wave. I sat on the edge of the bed, shaking, hating myself, staring at the mirror that now reflected a stranger in white lace. Ethan left quietly, and I was left with silence so heavy it hurt to breathe. I told myself it was a mistake, a moment of weakness I could bury forever. Daniel didn't need to know. No one did. I'd marry him, love him, and make it right somehow. But fate has a cruel sense of timing. Because the next morning when I walked down the aisle, Ethan's eyes met mine, and I saw the same guilt burning behind his. And when Daniel hugged him after the ceremony, smiling and thanking him for being like a brother, something inside me shattered. That night at the reception, the music was loud enough to hide the storm in my chest. Everyone laughed, danced, toasted to our love story. The perfect couple who had finally tied the knot. But I could barely look at Daniel without guilt clawing at my insides. Every time he smiled, it felt like a knife twisting deeper. Every time he said, "I love you," I heard Ethan's voice echoing in my head, whispering the same words hours before our vows. Ethan avoided me, or tried to. He stayed close enough to Daniel to appear loyal but far enough from me to keep our secret safe. I kept telling myself it would fade, that I could bury it under time, marriage, and good intentions. But secrets have a way of rotting everything they touch. A few weeks later, Daniel began noticing the tension. "Did something happen between you and Ethan?" he asked one night, his brow creased with concern. I laughed it off, pretending to be surprised, pretending not to feel my pulse racing. "Of course not," I lied. "Why would you even think that?" He smiled, relieved, and kissed me goodnight, unaware that I was quietly suffocating beneath the weight of what I'd done. But the universe doesn't allow lies to live forever. One evening when Daniel's phone buzzed with Ethan's name, I froze. Ethan had texted him something that made Daniel's expression change. Confusion first, then anger. "What's this supposed to mean?" he asked, showing me the message. I read it once and felt the blood drain from my face. It was a simple text, one Ethan had meant for me. "You've been quiet since that night. I can't stop thinking about you." Daniel stared at me, waiting. My throat tightened, my hands trembling as I searched for a lie strong enough to undo the truth. But there wasn't one. My silence was enough. His face twisted in disbelief, the kind that only comes from someone who thought betrayal could never come from the person they trusted most. He didn't yell. He didn't throw anything. He just stood there, eyes wet, voice breaking as he whispered, "On our wedding day?" That sentence will haunt me forever. Ethan disappeared from our lives after that night. But the damage was done. Daniel moved out within a week. Our friends took sides, whispers followed me everywhere. And the beautiful wedding photos I once cherished became a cruel reminder of the day I destroyed everything real in my life. Months passed, but time didn't heal anything. It only stretched the pain longer, thinner, until it became part of my every breath. I'd see Daniel sometimes across the street at the cafe we used to love or in my dreams. He looked different now, harder, colder. There was no trace of the warmth that once made me feel safe. I wanted to tell him I was sorry, that I'd give anything to undo that one night. But some wounds run too deep for apologies. Ethan tried reaching out once. He sent an email, long, emotional, full of regret. He said he never meant for it to happen, that he'd been in love with me for years and couldn't control himself. I deleted it without finishing. I didn't need his guilt. I already carried enough for both of us. I blocked him everywhere after that. The thought of him only made me sick. What I'd mistaken for a moment of connection had been nothing but weakness. Two people too broken to stop themselves from falling. My family didn't know the full story, but they could tell something had shattered. My mother cried when Daniel returned his wedding ring through her. A small silver band she'd helped us choose. "You threw away a good man," she said softly, and she was right. I did. One night I saw Daniel again, purely by chance. He was walking out of a restaurant with a woman I didn't know. She was beautiful, confident, the kind of woman who still believed in love. They laughed together, and for the first time I didn't feel jealousy. Just loss, raw, quiet loss. I had no right to interrupt his healing, so I turned away before he could see me. Sometimes I still wear the necklace he gave me before our wedding. Not as a symbol of love, but as a reminder of what betrayal costs. I lost more than a husband that day. I lost the version of myself that was capable of being trusted. The woman who could look in the mirror without flinching. People think affairs are about passion or excitement. They're not. They're about loneliness, weakness, and the illusion that something forbidden can fix what's broken inside you. But it never does. It only destroys. If I could go back to that night, to the moment before the first kiss, before the first mistake, I'd walk away. I'd save Daniel from me. But life doesn't offer rewinds. Only memories that burn every time you close your eyes. And every time I hear wedding bells now, they don't sound like celebration. They sound like regret.